Okay, so we'll start now. A very good afternoon to everyone, and very nice to have all of you joining us today. And this is the second time I have this STPM Math-T intro class. I had a class last year with with my friends, and this is the second time I'm doing this Math-T intro class. So this Math-T intro class is not only for STPM students, not only for incoming Form 6 students, this is also for all the incoming pre-U students, which means no matter you are taking A-levels, you are taking ADP, you are taking foundation, I believe that with the topics that we'll cover today should be beneficial to you, including, I think, matriculation also. Okay, so just have a look at our schedule today. So first I will start with the introduction to the pre-U or college mathematics. How is it different from your high school, your SPM, MS, and MF, and math? All right, and I will quickly go through the Form 6 Math-T syllabus, what you are studying in each semester, and what chapters will you study in the first semester. All right. Then after that, we will have our first part of our lecture today, which is basically if you have print out your lecture notes, your handout. For part 1, we will be discussing section 1.1. Okay. Then after that, we'll have 15 minutes of break. Then we'll continue with section 1.2. Okay. So I hope I can finish this on time because it is like especially 1.2 is actually the longest subtopic in this chapter. All right. And of course, this 1.1 and 1.2 are just the first half of the chapter 1. Okay. Then after that, we'll have some Q&A if we have the time. So if you have any question but you are too shy to ask, then you can drop a question in the Q&A text channel. Okay. And I also put in the housekeeping rules for today's class. So whenever you join the text channel, the lecture hall, make sure you mute yourself. And if you wish to talk, then yeah, sure, you can unmute and speak to me. And you may also leave your question in the Q&A section, like what I said just now. And if you have any technical support, example, you can't see my screen or you can't hear my voice, then you can reach out to our moderator. We have 2 moderators today. You can talk to them in the tech help text channel. Okay. And you are free to chat in the general channel and also off topic. If you have any nonsense you want to talk about, you can just share it in the off topic. And if you have any memes or you just have some funny memes that you want to share, just drop it in the memes channel. Okay. So yeah, I haven't introduced myself, right? So okay. So I'm your host today. My name is Eric, and I have my YouTube channel, eMath Video, which have like roughly, I think currently I have like 60 plus videos. Okay, I have been doing this channel for like about a year, and in my channel I have a lot of like interesting math problems and some math challenge, like how to recite the value of pi, and what's that? Something like a differentiation marathon. Like, remember you prove your trigonometric identities? Yeah, I go and do the marathon. Like how much time I need to prove? Like I remember it was like 50 identities that I have to prove within a certain time. So I have a bunch of materials for SPM, for STPM, even for university students. And currently I'm more focusing on calculus, which is usually the course that you take in your first year of university, especially if you are taking the science subject or engineering or even like business, like econs. I'm sure that you will need calculus. You will need to take calculus as one of the most fundamental courses during your university. Okay. Yeah, so this is my channel, eMath Videos. Please make sure you just okay. I think I need the moderator to send the link to the general channel in case you didn't see it in the notes and resources channel. All right, because I'm not that famous yet, so maybe you can't find me on YouTube by just searching. So moderator, please send my YouTube link to the general channel. Thank you. But anyway, this is about me, okay? And Oh, just now I forgot to mention. Okay, so I finished my SPM in 2019, and I studied computer science under American degree program at Taylor's University, and I will be majoring in mathematics at University of Michigan at Ann Arbor. Basically, it's like another UN. You just remember another UN, and if you are interested, you can just go ahead and Google my school. It's of course not as famous as MIT or Harvard, just like a decent school. Okay, so yeah, we will start with an introduction to college mathematics. How is it different from your SPM MS? And by the way, for your information, if not mistaken, you can take STPM Math-T without MS background. I'm not sure how it works because if it is me, then I will feel like it's really hard to follow the Math-T for me. So, and I think most of you have the MF background, and I hope most of you have MF background, so that later on I can skip some of the tiny little things that you have learned in MF. But of course, if you don't understand, if you miss out anything, feel free to ask me anytime. Okay, either through this Discord, or you can contact me via IG, or you can just, if you want to be really formal, you will have really formal question for me, you can write me an email. I don't mind. Okay. So what is the difference between SPM, MF, and Pre-U Math? So obviously, because SPM MF is like you have 2 years of syllabus you need to study, right? Form 4 and Form 5. So it's like, on average, I think I remember it's like 10 chapters per year. So it's like 20 chapters that you need to test in your SPM. Okay. So for Pre-U Math and even your college math, when you go higher, including Form 6 and A levels, obviously they will have less chapters per exam. Okay, it's not for the whole course. Yeah, it's per exam. Per exam, as in like for STPM, for example, for your first semester you study 6 chapters, and that's it. After your Sem 1 exam, you can throw it away. Then Sem 2 you study another 7 chapters, I think. Then 7 chapters after that you take your Sem 2 exam. That's it. So it's like less chapter per exam, which means you can focus on the topics, all the chapters in that semester. Okay. And for me, SPM MF is basically focusing on more basic concepts that are very important when you go higher, like functions, like your quadratic equation, like your log exponent, like your coordinate geometry, like your circular measure, like your trigonometric function. They are all basic concepts. While for Pre-U Math, they'll focus on more theoretical approach. Okay, so usually people SPM MF, you learn about formulas, right? You learn about formulas and you learn how to use the formulas, how to plug in the values into the formulas to solve for the question, right? Then for Pre-U Math, including STPM, it is like more theoretical, which means you will learn theorems. And theorems is nothing but just a paragraph of formulas. Okay? So theorem, for example, you have like Pythagorean theorem, right? So it's like they really go to the theory of it instead of just plugging numbers into the formula. Okay, so this is what linked to the next point, which is for SPM MF, there are more indirect question. What do I mean by indirect question? You look at the kebab or the hot question in MF. There are, if you notice, like recently in your paper 2, in your MS paper 2, you have a lot of like application questions that you need to form your own equation instead of just solving the equation, right? You need to form your own equation, then you plug in the values, use a formula. But for Pre-U Math, including STPM Math, from what I see from the past year paper, the exam questions are more straightforward. Okay, straightforward as in you know what they want you to find. Because like for example, in SPM MF, like under chapter progression, you may have some question about investment, right? Then you know that, hey, should I take TN, the N term, or should I take sum of N term? Sometimes it's a little bit confusing for you, right? But for STPM and beyond, all the Pre-U Math and beyond, including the university math, they will tell you, okay, I want TN, and that's it. You just find a TN. But the hard part is how do you utilize the theory? How do you make use of the concept to find the TN? Okay, so this is a little bit different. So if you are very good with with your paper 1 in your MF, then I think you should be fine with STPM Math-T. I mean, the style of the question are more similar. I'm not saying that 100% same as your MF paper 1. But it is more similar to your paper 1 kind of question. But not like paper 1. I think paper 1 recently they have a lot like express something in terms of something question. It is, yeah, we have that kind of question in STPM, but not really a lot. Okay. So this is about the difference between how you jump from SPM, the high school math, to pre-U math, to college math. Okay. And a lot of people asking about what is the difference between A levels and STPM, which one is harder? And people usually say STPM is harder, right? Because I think, if not mistaken, from what I saw from the syllabus guide, everything, STPM chapters will study more detailed, more in depth. Okay, but the thing is, for A-level mathematics, like you have a few papers that you may need to study about pure math. You may need to take the pure math paper, mechanics paper, or statistics and probability paper. It's like depending on what is your plan for your university and what paper you need to take for your math. Okay, so if you are taking A-levels route, then you may need to study multiple themes in a semester. Okay, for example, this semester I'm taking a pure paper and a statistics paper, something like that. But for STPM, the syllabus, everything is fixed already. Semester 1, you are studying algebra and geometry, which means you are studying about functions, you are studying about matrix, you are studying about vectors, you are studying about all the circle, hyperbola, parabola kind of thing. Okay. Then semester 2, you learn about calculus, which is like your limits, differentiation, and integration. Then semester 3, you will be learning about statistics, which are more advanced from what you learn in SPM. You have like in SPM you only learn about normal distribution, right? Normal distribution and binomial distribution. And then you may need to learn more distribution in your Sem 3. And also we have statistical tests that you will eventually learn. Okay, but don't worry about that. It is like you only have to focus on one thing per semester. Okay. So for semester 1, like I told you just now, it is about algebra and geometry. So you have 6 chapters in this theme, which is chapter 1, function, which is what we will be talking about today. Okay, we'll be discussing chapter 1.1 and 1.2. Then chapter 2 is sequence and series. Okay, so what is the difference between sequence and series? Basically, right? Okay, basically, if you have like 1, 3, 5, 7. Is it? Keep on reaching. Okay, so can you see the screen? Okay, basically, what is the difference between sequence and series? Sequence is like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, blah blah blah. Something like your arithmetic progression, right? And arithmetic sequence is one of the sequence. Geometric sequence is one of the sequence. Then what about series? Series is when you add them together, okay? 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, This is series. So this is what you will be studying. And not only in SPM, you only learn about arithmetic and geometry, right? So in STPM, this chapter sequence and series, you may need to learn more and whether the series converge or diverge. Converge means if you add sum to infinity, will you get a finite answer, or will you get infinity? Because remember in your SPM progression, when you study about geometric progression, you have the sum to infinity formula, right? But that sum to infinity formula, if you remember, the common ratio, the absolute value of the common ratio must be smaller than 1. Okay, so this is how you determine whether a geometric series converge or diverge. And also in chapter 2, you'll learn about binomial expansion. Remember in your I think it's form 3. If you have a plus b square, this one is a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? And you can have a plus b cubed equals to something. Some of you maybe you know the formula already. But for binomial expansion, you will be learning about a plus b n, and it is a very, very, very long formula. Okay, this is what you will learn in chapter 2. Then chapter 3, matrix. Okay, you learn this in your modern math, right? From 5 chapter 4. Okay, so in your Form 5 chapter 4, you only learn about maximum is 2 by 2 matrix. How you add up 2 by 2 matrix and find the determinant, to solve the system of equation, to solve the simultaneous equation, right? So in Form 6, you will be learning 3 by 3 matrix. Means it's like something like this. Okay, and the operation plus, minus, multiply, divide. And to use that to solve system of equation in 3 variables. Okay, if you are interested, but you don't want to get into matrix yet, then you can go look at now the KSSM MS syllabus, the Form 4 chapter 3. They have learned how to solve system of linear equation in 3 variables. Yeah. So if you are interested and you have time, you can just go and borrow their textbook and have a look. And matrix is of course I will not say it's a easier way to solve the equation, but it's one of the way to solve system of equation in 3 variables. Then chapter 4, you will learn about complex number. And some of you already know. You know that last time your teacher tell you that if you have a square root of a negative number is undefined, right? So when you learn about complex number, you will like try to define what it is. And I will tell you it is just I. Okay, so it's like a whole new view about mathematics. It's like a complex world. You go to a complex world, and with that you can actually solve more things. And this complex world, even though it is not real, it is not about real numbers. If you wish to study in maybe about electronics in the future, this complex number, the concept of complex number is very, very important for you. Okay, when you study about alternating current like that, because you somehow have an imaginary axis, then you need to learn. You need to use the complex number. All right. Then after that, chapter 5, you learn about analytic geometry. Okay, analytic geometry. So remember in your coordinate geometry, you learn about the equation of everything, then you have your locus, everything, right? So in this chapter, analytic geometry is basically the combination of coordinate geometry and like your all the shapes like circle, like parabola. Parabola you learn in your quadratic equation, right? When you get into analytic geometry, you will know we have other way of writing the parabola. Okay. And basically, I think you'll learn about 4 conic sections, which are circles, ellipse, parabola, and hyperbola. And what I mean by conic section, if you look at this one, you see, it's like you have 2 cone and you have another plane, and the intersection between the plane and the 2 cones are what we call conic section. Okay, so imagine you see this is a straight line. Okay, now this is a circle. Slant a little bit, you get an ellipse. Then now you get a parabola, and like this you get a hyperbola. Okay, so this is what you will be studying in analytic geometry. And lastly, your last chapter in your semester 1 is vectors. Vectors you also learn in your MF, but you only learn about 2 dimensions, right? You only have like X component and Y component, your I and J. But in Form 6, you will learn about the vectors in 3 dimensions, and you will learn about the cross product and dot products. Okay, so this is an overview of the Form 6 Math-T syllabus. Okay, so any question? Oh, we have a lot of people joining today. Great. Any question? Don't feel shy to ask. This is just an overview to tell you what you will see in your Form 6 Math-T.